Okay, first grade, you've already completed our small landscape and our easy landscape, so now we're going to go on to a medium version of this. Before we start drawing, again, please write your first name, as much of your last name as you can, your class code. If you are in Mrs. Gross' class, you will be 1G. If you are in Mrs. Colliard's class, you will be 1C. And if you are in Mrs. Herden's class, you will be 1H. So now we're going to do something that's a little bit more difficult, maybe not to draw, but when we start using yarn, it's going to get a little bit more challenging. So instead of doing a straight horizontal line, we're going to do a curved horizontal line. So we're just going to have a one curved hill line. And again, I know that it may not be that much harder to draw, but it will be harder to decorate when we start using yarn. Just like we talked about before, the artists that we'll be learning about use these special trees and special buildings, a new way to create art that we've never tried before. Because this is a medium version, instead of doing 2, you can do 3. So you could do 3 trees, you could do 3 buildings, you could do 2 trees, 1 building, or you could do 2 buildings, 1 tree. So on your horizon line, you're going to draw 3 of either trees or buildings. Now that we have our top practice drawing done, now we can focus on the bottom. Just like before, we want to make sure that our horizon line is not too tall, leaving us with not a lot of space to draw houses and trees. And we also don't want it too low, because then we're not using all the space that we have unless we draw very, very large. But even then, we're still coloring in a lot of sky. So we're going to use our grid line that's halfway, and you're going to draw your hill. So it starts on the left, touches the horizon line, and then comes back down. Now that we have our horizon line towards the middle, we have the same amount of sky and the same amount of land, which is going to be easier to decorate. Now we want to talk about the line that goes vertically, and we have half and half. Now because we drew 3 things, just like before, we want to make sure that we're using up all of our space. Right now, I have nothing on the right on the top, and down here I have nothing in the middle for people that are looking at my picture to look at. So because we have 3 things, what we'll do is we'll draw 1 thing on the left, 1 in the middle, and 1 on the right to create a good balance. The same amount of things on one side as the other. Because I did tree, building, tree, I will also need to do tree, building, tree. So on the left, I will start by making a tree that fills up as much of the space as I can. I will draw a building, and I will draw it in the middle. And I will draw a tree on the right. Again, focusing on drawing big and using as much of the piece of paper as I